Respect for you? Really?
Grown man, why fuck that young girl? I keep blocking. She got paper like that.
Why you still hustling?
Nothing too big to be wearing a shirt like that. So why?
You want to go and do that?
Why you wanna do that?
You want to go and do that?
I come to the street, little Korean, don't
Unmuted.
Extra hype, extra hype. They questions, need our answers tonight. Cool talk, Paradigm shift, that's right. Make sure you invite a friend. Turn them down before you begin.
Why they say never say never?
When they know that ain't right.
Say never say never.
You done said never twice.
Why do I need
To get IG.
I wouldn't need ID. Why don't you find women got so much? Why did Dr. J say the dead and mustache? How you got high expectations but not low? How come this done in the place? So y'all places. So.
Shouts to DJ Diamond. DJ Diamond. Yeah. Got your neo soul right here Friday. Just in case you weren't told. Here we go. Got you in a good place. You're in a good space. Cool and talk. Paradigm shit. Come, get a taste. That's right. That's right. Yeah, tonight. All right. Show some love to the podcast. Family, local businesses that support this podcast. Carl's Restaurant, 16th Plate Street, North New Jersey. Halsey News, Superficial Drive, North New Jersey. Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Say hello, Shahida, Sadiqa. They'll be glad to meet ya. The Fruit House, 764 Broad Street, North New Jersey. Beer, spices, herbs, juices, smoothies, and much, much more. Make sure you visit the store, walk through the front door, tell me you heard about it on the podcast. One and all, that's right. Yeah. Once again, I want to welcome you here. Friday, your day, our day. Good space and a good place just for you. We got some websites that we definitely want you to take a look at because it's so nice. You got Networking for Success. .info. Networkingforsuccess.info. / Grooveology -360. Check out our thank you page right there. Check out our thank you page. Also, don't forget liquidmana.com, liquidmana.com. Make sure that you check them out. Everything for your oxygen enhanced products for your body's health and endurance. LiquidMana.com. Also, PrologicStrategies.com. Proprietor FloFokuz. See what he's got in store. Whole lot more at PrologicStrategies.com/news. Check out that link. See all the upcoming events. Tell us what you think. And last but not least, BearcatBodies.com. Lovely Leslie Wright. That's right. Check out her website. It's got a lot of things just for your delight, for your body, for your hair, for your skin, for your dental, for your eyes. I tell you, look inside, you'll find a surprise at BearcatBodies.com. Once again, everybody, we want to welcome you to the podcast. It's Friday. It's your day. It's our day. Glad you could join us. You could have been anywhere else, but you decided to stop here with us. And you know what? For that, we appreciate you. So we're going to get started momentarily. I just want to encourage everybody. Make sure you're in a place where you can kind of relax. And if you can't, well, just get as comfortable as you can, because tonight on your Cooler Talk, we got your paradigm shift. That's right. That's right. Every third Friday in the month is the paradigm shift right here on the Grown Folk Talk and Express Yourself Network. And tonight we're going to be going once again with our journey through civics, but tonight the secret to the game revealed. What we see is not what we pay attention to, and they call it hidden in plain sight. Hidden in plain sight. That's right. Tonight we're going to take a little dive into that. We're going to give you a little bit of the hows and the whys and the whats, just a little bit, some swirls all through the recipe. That's right. You know, kind of like you get that swirled cheesecake with the caramel swirls or the fudge swirls or the raspberry swirls in the cheesecake with the fresh fruit topping. Oh, And listen. I'm going to give you what my favorite is. Over in Brooklyn, they got the best Juniors. I tell you, get the rest. Brooklyn Juniors, the best for cheesecake and everything else. I tell you. Open late as well, too. And no, it's not a sponsored announcement. I have no affiliation with them. I'm just giving you my opinion and that I like Juniors. So if you all endeavor to have some good cheesecake, my opinion, they got the best. All right. Without further ado, once again, thank you. Let's get it started tonight. Of course, we got my man in the building, the engineer extraordinaire, the musical talent, the artist himself. That's right. FloFokuz is definitely part of the supermassive extra high team in the building. You already know.
Yes, sir.
You already know. Yes, indeed. There he is, Flo. Would you like to say hello to the listening audience real quick?
Hey, man, listen, we're here. It's another wonderful day, and I just want to thank everyone for showing up, and I'm ready to get things underway. Have at it.
All right. All right, Flo. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Appreciate you. 100% FloFokuz in the building. Supermassive extra high team. He's going to definitely talk to you tonight and answer your questions if you're willing and if you like. Make sure you got a pen and pad, jot it down, and if you can't, just try to remember it. And if you really must, you can take yourself off mute. This is a soft muted room right now. *6 will do that for you. Yes, it will. So we want to thank you. We want to encourage you all to invite. And don't forget, we got our event coming up tomorrow on the 16th. We're going to announce it a little bit later. But August 16th at the Salvation Army, 699 Springfield Ave, Newark, New Jersey. The Grown Folk Talk and Express Yourself Network presents its Disease Prevention Convention and Health Forum. Over 20 guest speakers, lots of vendors, and keynote speaker Thurston Bilal will be coming in from the West Coast. That's right, he's traveling far to come in just to speak to us. He gives us some very good information about our bodies and about our health. Also a prodigy of Dr. Sabi, so those of you who are familiar, you know the man is legit. Also, once again, everybody, don't forget the 5th Friday in this month. That's the last Friday in this month. We got another flip side event. Everybody get ready for that. I know you're waiting for those announcements.
I can be quicker with the air horns. Fan, 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 fan.
There we go. There we go. That's right. Flip side coming up the last Friday of this month. Make sure you tell a friend, because we're going to be giving out some more gifts for those of you who bring the most people to this event. All right, now, once again, today, Secrets to the Game reveals another journey through civics, but on a different wavelength, a different frequency. Today, it's the paradigm shift. That's right. It's the shift in your way, the shift in your being, the shift in your thoughts, the culmination of everything that you are. What makes you you? What makes you react? What gives you a stimulatic response? A little shift in that goes a long way, a very long way. And today, what I want to say is this. A lot of times, what we see is not what we pay attention to. It really isn't. What we see is not what we pay attention to. I'll give you, for instance, really quick. Sometimes we may go somewhere on a daily route, or we may remember somewhere that we've been quite a few times, a number of times. And when we walk through these areas, there are a lot of things that are right in plain view that we just don't pay attention to. Like the awning at the top of a storefront that we pass and that we may stop in every now and then and visit. Or the street sign that has the name of the street that we're walking on and maybe the direction that that street sign is pointing to. Or the fire hydrant near the corner that's yellow with a red instead of a green top. But these are things that, because we don't interact with them on a daily basis in a physical way, in other words, you don't trip over the fire hydrant, you don't bump into the sign, the awning doesn't come down and smack you on the top of your head when you're walking by, those things don't happen. So they're just what we call fixtures in place. And we expect them to be there because we know them to be there. So technically, they don't gain our attention or our intention because we really don't interact with those things. But some of these things that we kind of give this cold shoulder to and kind of give this for granted feeling and attribute to are really there trying to get our attention so that our intentions can line up with our culminations. In other words, all that we are, all who we are, all that we have, all that we hold on to, the culmination of everything that makes us who we are at this moment in time is not the end all be all. We haven't, well, I won't say all of us, but some of us have not crossed over the threshold and seen what's on the other side of that opening, that portal. In other words, if you realize this, every time you step out your door, you're stepping out of a portal into a different realm, because your home acts as a base where you can go to and you can have some security, some stability, some safety, some comfort, some pleasures of life, some accommodations, some conveniences, some amenities, everything that you could want that would accommodate you in one place is there within your home, but your home is off limits to the playing field, so to speak. So once you shift your paradigm from being out of the house and away from home base to the anticipation of getting to home base and inside, where you can really let your hair down, breathe out a sigh, and really feel alive and revived. You wait, you wonder, and you anticipate. But sometimes what we have anticipation for has been sitting in front of us just like that front door. We look, we want, we desire, ooh, what are those things that we say? Come on, I know what this is. Affirmations. We say them all the time. We say what we want. We say what we have. We say who we are. We even say, show me, or show us, or show how. And we wait, and we wait, and we wait. And sometimes it doesn't manifest, and we kind of forget about it because we've become accustomed or used to, quote unquote, waiting through disappointment. It didn't come. Well, I guess one day it'll get here. And it's actually right in front of us. It is right in front of us. But just like those fixtures that are set, we're not paying attention to them. They've always been there. We always see these things, and sometimes they even seem a little bit out of place, like, what is that doing here? It's to get someone's attention. The intention is to get someone's attention, relatively us. What is it that you really want? Is what you ask yourself. You got to ask yourself this question. What is it that you really want? What is in your heart? What is your heart's desire? What have you wanted ever since you were a child? What developed in you that made you go after something hard when you were a kid? And you didn't take no for an answer. You didn't say you can't have it. You said you were going to get it. But you had a long-term goal. You had a long-term view. You had the long game back then because you were younger, and you said, when I grow up, I am going to fill in the blank. That was your affirmation in motion right there. Set into motion. No denying it. No saying that it's not going to happen. No saying that it's not true, because to you, guess what? That's what you had. That's what you held on to. That's what you said was coming for you, and you put it into motion. Now all you have to do is just watch. But sometimes those things get skewed. Excuse me while I take a sip of this tea real quick. Thank you, guys. Thank you kindly. Sometimes those views and aspirations get a little skewed. The lines get blurred. Sometimes we get a little, how could I say, turned away from them, not because we wanted to, but because to others they're nonsense, utter nonsense. They hear us and they humor us. They may laugh at us. They may be grown-ups. They may be older siblings. They may be older friends. Who knows? But because those are your desires, your thoughts, your dreams, your aspirations, your inclinations. And they're for you because it came from you. Actually, you came here with them. They're part of your asset portfolio. They just have not manifested yet. But you got them. Oh, trust and believe me, you got them. And there are signs, if you really pay attention, some of us can look, some of us can listen, some of us can do both. But if you really pay attention, and you see that thing that just looks so out of place, you see something that shouldn't be, maybe you might see a piece of notebook or computer paper, a single sheet being blown around by the wind, and nobody else is paying attention to it but you. Now, for a fleeting moment, you see it, and it kind of gets your gaze, but then it's not important anymore because it's just a piece of paper. But the question is, what is a single sheet of paper doing blowing around in the wind about 10 feet up in the air? It's to get someone's attention. Trust and believe me on this. Not pulling your leg. Not pulling your leg. A lot of times, what we see is not what we are paying attention to, because in our minds we have a bunch of other things going on, thoughts that are just running, that we allow them to take up space and allow them to take our energy and our sanity, our peace of mind, and continue to run over and over again. And they don't stop. Why? Not because we can't stop them, but because we've given them free rein, because we allow these things to take the place of our asset portfolios, the things that we are to be putting our energy to building and cultivating. These are the things that take up space in our minds. Those worries, those anxieties, those fears, those what ifs. I'm not good enough. What if it doesn't get better? What if it don't come through? What if I end up having to do this? What if I don't get that opportunity? When your asset portfolio, which is already within you, says differently, these are the dreams that you have. They are there, along with some other things. Supermassive extra hype health. Prosperity. Security, stability. Financial freedom. Legacy building. It's all there and a whole lot more if we just unpack and pay attention. Because you'll notice these things never go anywhere. A lot of us will say, oh, back in the day, I had these dreams. I used to dream of this, dream of being this or doing this or having this, and I wanted this, and I knew that it was something that I really wanted to have, but here I am now, so I guess I'm just satisfied and content. Well, let me give you a little nugget here. Your asset portfolio that you came to this plane with also has something in it called you decide. You choose. You choose how you are going to go through this existence. You can go through in a prosperous way, or you can go through with poverty
lack and austerity. And part of that is something that we've been taught is supposed to happen to us as our years progress. Oh, well, as you get older, you're supposed to have this and this and this, and you have some arthritis, you have some bursitis in your shoulders, your joints begin to weaken and you lose your cartilage, your joints tear, and then we got to go in and do surgery, and then you gain weight and you get cholesterol and all this other stuff happening to you, blah, 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 blah. That's a different portfolio, but it's not full of assets, it's full of liabilities. But we pay attention to that because it's put before us, guess what, by someone else. Ain't that something? Someone else can actually influence what we think and feel regarding our own selves. Ain't that something? We can take the word of somebody else better than we can take what's already within us, which is waiting to be born on this existent plane that we're on. You and I are a blessing going to someone who needs something to happen in their lives. All of us have gifts and talents that work very well in work if we unpack them, if we pay attention to the voice that we hear within ourselves at times telling us, we could have this and we could have that. You could always have that dream home that you wanted. But you have to pay attention. This is the voice talking to you. Pay attention. There are people in your life for a reason. There are guides. They help us along, and we get helped along by other guides as well, and so on and so forth, because we're all part of this bigger picture that makes up a collective, like 1,000 puzzle pieces, all in the box. And when we unpack them and we start to fit them together, and it starts to look like something after a little while, and we begin to see, this kind of starts looking like what it's going to look like on the box. And we keep putting these pieces into place because we're paying attention to the construction of a dream come true. And we stop focusing on the voices that are trying to get us not to construct and unpack and construct what we already have inside. Doubt and fear and misdirection are the biggest conspirators to our success. Doubt, fear, and misdirection. Seeds of doubt are planted. You can't jump over that hurdle. That thing's too high for you. No, you can't do that. You try to jump over that thing, you're going to break your back. Don't do it. You can't do it, but you know you can. And you know that you trained for this moment, even though you never had a hurdle to jump, but you know you've done exercises, you've stretched, you've run, you've eaten right, you've gotten enough rest, you've stretched, you've done everything you know to do, you've got the right footwear and every piece of equipment that you need in order to accomplish the goal. And then someone comes along and tells you all of the treacherous things that could happen, that might happen if you try to do that. Why don't you be on the safe side and just not do it at all? That way, you don't risk injury to yourself. See where the seeds are planted? What we already have inside of us is what propelled us to work out and work our bodies in the first place. That's what we need to pay attention to. But what we're seeing is not what we're paying attention to. What we're seeing is the motivation to go on and be great, excellent, awesome. But in the interim, we're not paying attention to that because we're letting outside voices and outside influences turn our paradigm to their agendas. Soaking in their information, letting them leech off of our energy and our auras, and pretty much suck us dry, suck the courage right out of us, suck the life right out of us, the ambition right out of us, the drive, the thrill-seeking, the joy, the anticipation, the exhilaration when we know that, ooh, it's right there within my grasp, just about another minute and I'm going to have it. All of that going because who are we paying attention to? Not our asset portfolio that we came here with, but to those who are there to see if they can stop us. Not because they necessarily want to, but just because they want to see what we're made of. Can you really stand this test when it comes? Are you really, really going to dig deep down when the pressure gets applied? Or are you going to forget what you've been paying attention to, which is your motivation, and pay attention to something that's not? Once again, I ask you, what are your dreams? What are your aspirations, your ambitions? What do you want that you have suppressed and pushed down in the bottom of your proverbial packing trunk and covered it with blankets and comforters and quilts? Out of sight, out of mind. Go find it. Go dig it out. Pull it to the surface. Don't let it stay buried. It's not where it belongs. Because if you don't have a beacon, you have nothing to gaze on. And to gaze means to pay attention. You have it. It has a pulse. It has a heartbeat. It has energy. And as long as you suppress or allow it to be suppressed, guess what? The energy signature is still there. Others are just going to feed right off of it because they're going to replace what is yours with what they speak out to you. Doubt. Fear, number 2. If you try this, there could be consequences. Not there will be. There could be, there might be. It's a possibility, but there's nothing for sure, nothing for certain. Because your dreams don't come with that. You may be tested, you may be tried, but that's not to scare you. It's not to make you want to quit. It's to show you that what you have created is so solid that it can stand even when there's an onslaught against it. That's what that is for. But we're not paying attention to that. We can see that. But we're paying attention to the voices saying, hey, I told you. See, didn't I tell you not to get into it? Didn't I tell you not to do it? Now look at what's happening to you. Look at what's coming at you. But wait a minute, let me ask you this. Did it break you? No, because you're still standing. It's those voices at the sides that want to see you fall and fail. They don't want to see you make it. Why? Because they want to try. They want to try you and see if they can cause you to make yourself fall. They don't make you fall, really. They just your cheering squad for that. When you stop, when your focus, when your paradigm gets all centered and it shifts to someplace where it shouldn't be, that's when we have a problem. Check this out. Hold on, I've got to take a sip of some tea. That's good. I'll tell you, clove tea. Got this recipe from a very knowledgeable individual. I want to thank you very much for that. It's doing exactly what you said it would. I appreciate that very much. If anybody knows what a Coast Guard cutter is, and for those of you who may not have heard of that or you don't know, it's a ship. Of course, it's used by the Coast Guards. It's used for a lot of different things, but most notably, it has been used in rescue operations on the high seas, even through storms and waves that are hierarchy. Because the cutters are built and designed in such a way that they actually cut through the water and they do break open the waves, so they don't have the effect that they would fully if they were beating up against another ship who didn't have that kind of streamlined design to cut right through the water. Well, those people on those Coast Guard cutters know there's going to be some waves, especially if they have to go out for a rescue attempt. And they know where they're going and how they have to try to get there and the amount of time it's going to take, especially if the weather is not calm on the seas. But they deployed them anyway because they can get through those waves. And they know that water's going to come. It's going to hit up against the bow. It's going to hit up against the windows. All the water is going to run down. Everything is going to be chaotic looking, but you know what? That ship is still going to stand. And they know it. So you know what they do? Business as usual. They operate the machinery, the equipment on the ship. They maintain the ship. They batten down the hatches. They close all the open ports. And they lock themselves in place until they're needed. And that ship is going to stand. And they already know it's going to stand because they know it's designed. They know it's not junk. It's been tested. And it will stand. That's why they're out there. Well, think of the same thing when you're walking through life. Your asset portfolio, your dreams, they've already been constructed for you. You got them already. You've had them ever since you were a kid, and you know some of the things. You can remember what you wanted to do when you were a kid. Yeah, there are a lot of things you wanted to do. That is your portfolio, my friends. And a lot of people say, well, you'll never get through it in a lifetime. Now that's the next one, misdirection. Misdirection. The magicians. Yes. The illusionists. Misdirection. Hey, don't look over there. Look over here. Hey, look here. See how nice and shiny this is? See how this casts light and see how it just goes through every fractal? Look at it. Watch it spin. Look, it floats without me even holding it. Look. It's an optical illusion. Misdirection. Why? Because you're going to be tested. Your paradigm has to shift to the degree where you say, this is the direction I'm heading. Can you look to the left and to the right? Sure, as long as your momentum doesn't go left to right. Still has to stay in a forward motion. Sometimes you're the only one to blaze a trail through the path that you're creating because there hasn't been one created where you're going. But your paradigm, your shift, your thinking, what you accept, your perception as well as your perspective and your permissions, who you give them to, have to all be interconnected and aligned for the best possible outcome. All doubt and fear has to be cast out because you already know what you got. You know what you have. You know what you're moving toward. It's not to rally with a whole bunch of people all the time. It's not to stand as an island of one all the time. There are different situations and different scenarios that outline the path that you are on, that take you to where you need to go. But the onus is on us. We have to pay attention to what comes from us. Its desire and design is for us. You may have wanted to style hair or be a billionaire tycoon or a musician, a virtuoso, or an actress or an actor, acting live, stage plays, amphitheaters, other events and venues. Maybe you wanted to be involved in electronics. You want to know what makes these things work. You like to tinker with things. Or you wanted to design things. You wanted to be an architect of sorts. Or maybe you were just a thrill seeker and you wanted to document all of your different activities. These are the things that are within us that we need to pay attention to because they're already there for us. We can already see the manifestations of these things because sometimes we come across things and we say, wow, I was just thinking about that. And now I see somebody who's doing it. I hear people talking about it. I see advertisements. I see billboards. I see it even plastered on vehicles that are going down the street. Well, I was just thinking of that because it's yours. This universe is telling you, hey, what you're thinking, look, it's right here. Here, better than AI. You ain't even got to say nothing. You just thought it, and we just confirmed it for you. So what's stopping us? What's holding us back? Well, we got a lot of outside influences that want to speak louder than the voice that's within us, to try to get us to listen to them and not listen to what's within. Another sip of tea, please. Hold on. Misdirection. You were told to go in one direction, and then this takes you on 3 separate directions that neither one of them are the way you were told to go. But they could have you end up to where you want to be. Maybe, maybe not. Possibly, but highly unlikely. What do we really want? Have we given up on ourselves? Have we said it's too late? Have we said it's too late for us to actually retard our ages? That is a real thing. Some of you heard the story, but I won't tell it here. And if you come to the event tomorrow and you ask me, I'll tell you about it. I met some people. It was interesting, very interesting. Do we think that it's too late for us to have the vitality, the energy, the youthfulness, the appearance that we had at the peak of our youth? I'm not talking about like when we were just kids growing up. No, I'm talking about like when we were like 20-something, 30-something. There are people right now, especially in the Asian continent. You see these people, they look so youthful. You find out how old they are, you say, what? Stop playing. You lying. Nah, you lying. Really and truly. Especially on that continent. Especially on other continents where there's not so much competition for your energy and for your thoughts. There's not so much to guard against. Those places could be good respites. But where you're planted right now is exactly where you are to be. Because you have a purpose for where you are. It's not just to be here to take up space. And everything can be shifted to where it's properly supposed to be and properly work the way it's supposed to. But we have to pay attention. Upon this network, what do we get? Nothing but information. Wealth of information all the time. A lot of it is about health and the dynamics of health and also power dynamic positions. But we have to pay attention. We got it right here. And that's not to say this is the only place, but it's convenient. We have it here, all under one roof. So many different podcasters here. So much information. Now, are we going to fully sign on and commit to everything we hear? I think that would be unrealistic, but we can be influenced by it. In some way, shape, or form, it can propel us forward. But sometimes we have to relax our shoulders. Take a deep breath in. Hold it. And now, exhale. You feel that tension just leave you? You didn't even know you were doing it because we're so used to it. These voices are frequencies. These frequencies affect our physiology. What do we have that combats that? What we already have inside. But we have to make that paradigm shift. We have to stop denying something that has nothing but great intention and no expectation from us. In other words, let me put it this way. Would you rather have an injection from the doctor? I know I don't really like them. I really don't. Or would you rather have shiatsu rub down from your shoulders to your waist? Which one do you think would benefit you better? With less anxiety and more calm, serene sensations, where you can now close your eyes, breathe, and just exhale all the tension. Maybe that feeling is something that you would like for others to be able to experience, being that there is so much high stress and tension. That is part of your asset portfolio. Maybe you want to cook and let people sample your wares because you love creating and you put your heart and soul into what you do. That is part of your asset portfolio. You came here with it. Don't let anybody deny you or make you deny what is already real inside of you. It's there. It is. Waiting for you to let it just blossom. What we see is not what we always pay attention to. We call it hidden in plain sight, but it's already a part of us, so it's really not hidden. We're just not paying attention to it because we're allowing other things outside of us to grab our attention, plant seeds of doubt, make us fearful, and then misdirect us and misguide us. And it's not always a directional thing. Sometimes it's an activity. It might be a good activity, but maybe it's not for us to be involved in that thing at that time. When you're hungry, you want to eat. You want to sit down and have some nourishment. But when you're hungry, you don't really feel like going and working an 8-hour shift doing something or going to the club and cutting the rug. You want to satisfy that longing, that aching, that something that says, hey, let's satisfy this. Let's get it done. That's the groaning pain that you feel on the inside. It's been wanting to come out so long. And for so long we've denied it because we've accepted everything in this land of make-believe that somebody else made up that we bought into. Create your own. That's what you came here with. This right here is just, quote unquote, kind of like a by default, but only because it got here before we did. But who's to say that we can't create our own? You do it every time you go home. That's your world. You want to extend it? Well, that's okay too. But you must shift your paradigm, your thoughts, your intentions, what you hold dear, what you are stabilized by, what you're secured by. Are we just like so into our captors that we empathize with them once we've been with them for such a long time? That's called Stockholm Syndrome. Are we so conditioned to give a response that every time we hear or see or smell something, we act a certain way or our body tenses a certain way? That's a Pavlovian experiment. But what do we see right here, right now? Our desires, our dreams, our creation, our creative abilities. Nobody can stop us but us, people. I'm going to tell you that again. Nobody can put a stop to us but us. A lot of times we are our worst own enemies and we are the ones that get in our own way. But we don't want to admit that because we've been trained to respond a certain way, to empathize with those who have us in their dragnet, dragging us around, not even giving us the respect of being carted around, or even just letting us walk around. No, we got to be dragged around. Is that what you really want? Is that what we're really comfortable with?
Extra
Yes,
hype.
indeed. Extra hype.
You said a wonderful word there, dragnet. That's a bit of a dubious tool. Imagine the bed of a like a, I don't know, river or something, right? I don't know, maybe the edge
Mm-hmm.
of an ocean, maybe, right? Some coastline where you want to go fishing. So you throw your net out, hopefully you catch some things, but then you get the idea, let me put something
This call
heavy,
is being recorded.
right? Let me put something heavy on the end of the rope there, of the net, so that one end of it sinks to the bottom of this water body that I'm in. And then boom, I attach the rest to my boat and I drag my net around. So now I'm catching not only things that are swimming just below me, but things that are all the way down at the bottom, and even some things that are hiding in the dirt. I start to stir up the dirt and all of this kind of stuff. And now I'm probably not going to get a lot of things that are in the dirt as I'm passing by because I have to stir it up. But what I am doing is catching
Mm-hmm.
all those fish. So
Right.
I am seeing that I'm picking up all these things, but I'm not seeing that I'm disturbing the ecosystem as I drag my
Mm-hmm.
net through. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
already saying, "Hey man, I'm doing such a great job. My return is 10 times with my drag net. Where I used to just throw my net out, I get 10 times now."
Mm-hmm.
Lo and behold, you do that for only this season, you've destroyed, let's say, for example, you've destroyed the habitat for the next generation to procreate. So now that 10 times dwindles to zero just because you found a new method. And maybe in those early moments, you got those high returns. But in the long run, you've destroyed the ecosystem to where no one can do this anymore. You've destroyed the
Mm-hmm.
whole process. So I think we've
Mm-hmm.
gone over a long period of time with a lot of these different methods that they go deeper and deeper into the ecosystem, disturbing the foundations as opposed to catering to the procreation and the proliferation of said source so that you can continue to utilize its abundance. You know, a lot of us kind of, uh, we kind of forget that we're going through life doing things that we do see that are important, all the while we're like what you're saying here. It's breaking down us on the inside because we're not doing things that we really want to do with our time, energy, and effort. So we're dragging our net around, getting this high return on our investment. But in the long run, all we're going to do is sit on the edge of a porch and rock in our chair because we've broken our bodies to the point where we can't enjoy it to our extreme, to our ends. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
just looking at what you're saying here, and given that visual of a dragnet, it's just, we can bring that even over as to where I first heard the term dragnet and why it sounds so despicable. It's a thing that happens in law enforcement, dragnet. So I'll leave it there, but that's my 2 cents.
And I want to say that, yeah, you make a very, very good point and a very good case. Um, you know, what you just described is how from doubt, fear, and misdirection all combined to get our gaze and our attention, we become a willing participant in something that breaks down the very fabric and foundation, like you said, of what we're standing on, that we're actually supposed to cultivate as stewards and build up for the next generations to come, and then take that we've done and pass that along to the future generations. But what we have here is the future generations following the lead of the ones before them and destroying, breaking down, tearing up, damaging the foundation of what we're actually standing on, what we're balancing on. And like you said, with just dragnetting, just taking all what's given to us and just running it all over everything, tearing it all up for a return. that might be temporary. But at the end of the day, what is that return going to do for the damage that was already done? In other words, if lumber brings us a high yield return and we cut all the lumber we can, but then we don't understand why, we got dirt all in the air, it's hard to breathe, it's real thick, we got respiratory problems because the anchors, the trees that actually take all of that stuff in and put out fresh oxygen have now been taken away for a penny's return, where we sit on, like you said, our rocking chairs on the porch trying to breathe through something, because we've not only damaged our bodies, but we've actually damaged the system that was here to support us all along. Why? Because we're not listening to what we have inside of us, and we're promoting and pushing another agenda from the outside. So you make a very good point with that. I wanted to comment on that. And thank you for chiming that in. Appreciate that. At this time, everybody, here's what I'm going to do. Yes. I think it's about that time. Let's go ahead and do that. Yes, indeed, everybody. Okay, all right. No need to do star 6 anymore. The lines are unmuted. We want to take a respite break so that we can give you time to chime in and give your thoughts about what we're talking about tonight. So our topic, once again, we're still going through our journey through civics, secrets to the game revealed, but today our topic is what we see is not what we pay attention to, hidden in plain sight. So we just went through this. This is the paradigm shift. So the floor is open. The floor is open. We definitely want to hear what you think. We want to hear what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? You have an experience? You have a testimony? Something you'd like to share? Or a question? You got questions? We definitely got answers. So with that being said, the floor is open. The floor is open. The floor is open. The floor is open, everybody. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Questions, comments, answers, opinions. Now, I know we got more than me and my co-host on the line here. I already checked. I know. So listen, don't be shy. Don't be shy. I know some of y'all might be cooking and got background noise, but that's okay too. We just want to hear from you. What do you think? What is on your mind? And what do you think about this topic moving forward? Do you think it's something that can help us if we actually take hold to it and work with it? Or do you think it's nonsense? What do you think? What are your opinions? We want to hear. So, come on, speak up, speak up. And don't forget, the end of this month, we have our we got our flip side event. Brought to you by the Supermassive Extra High team. That's right. That's right. That's right. We got our flip side once again, everybody. So make sure you bring a friend, because this flip side, we're definitely going to go back to giving out some prizes to those who bring the most. And that person or those people have to reference you. They have to get on. They have to reference you. Now, they may not stay. They may have to go, but as long as they get on and say that they were invited by, and we confirm that, we can keep a list. And then towards the end of the podcast, we'll definitely be giving out prizes for those who brought the most. It's going to be more than one this time, okay? So with that being said, make sure that you all get ready. Invite your friends, okay? This flip side is going to be something special. So you want to be there, all right? You want to be there. Definitely, everybody. We got the lines open for you. We got the lines open. Please feel free. Don't be shy. If not, we will continue on. So we'll give it about a good 30 seconds, All right.
You were saying something about nonsense.
Well, there we go, Latoya.
Oh my goodness.
Good to hear you. Good to hear you.
Prince, how are you?
Oh,
I said, how
Well,
are
he's
you?
in. Well,
I'm
I'm
doing
doing well.
lovely. It takes me
Okay.
zero point 0.3 seconds to finish unmuting.
Oh,
But
I
yes,
see.
I'm doing lovely. I
Oh,
appreciate it.
okay. Oh, awesome. That's good to hear. So you mentioned if you didn't have no comments, you can say nonsense. That's what you said? Other words?
No,
Correct
that's
me.
not what we said. We said,
Correct
do you
me.
have a comment? If you have a comment,
Uh-huh.
or if you
Uh-huh.
have a question,
Correct. Correct.
or
Uh-huh.
if you want to share a testimony,
Mhm. Mhm.
or if you want to give an answer,
Mhm. Mhm.
then you may. The floor is open. We want to hear your opinion about tonight to see if it's something that makes sense moving forward for our future generations. If we should really be paying attention to our dreams rather than building somebody else's dreams.
Okay. So that's what the podcast was about, because I really wasn't
Yes.
too much paying
Yes.
attention. I'm gonna be honest.
Exactly.
Oh. Okay.
Exactly. That's what it's
All
about.
right. Okay. So it's
All right.
about. Okay. I wasn't paying attention. Okay.
All right, everybody. So we're going to move on if there are no comments
Okay.
at this time, no
All right.
questions.
So I'm gonna go back on mute then. So I can
All
pay
right,
attention
sweetie.
to the rest. No, no,
All
no.
right.
I don't want to hold you up. I'm gonna go back on mute so I can pay attention to the rest of it.
All right. Well, we always got time. We always got time. If you got any comments, questions, we pause to give you all the floor. But
So
let us move
one
forward.
more other thing. You mentioned about
Mhm.
juniors. Have you been to Carlos Bakery?
I have not.
Okay, that's here in Hoboken. Okay, so I'm
Oh.
gonna go back on mute.
Okay. All right. You just gave me another place to check out.
Okay.
Carla's Bakery. Okay. All right. I'm going to get some more information about that from you before before Flipside. Okay. Great.
Okay.
Great.
All right, I'm going back
All
on
right.
mute. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, everybody. We're going to continue on, and as we were saying, what we see is not what we pay attention to. What I mean by that is within us, your dreams, your desires, your aspirations. They're always with you. They've always been here. They are your asset portfolio. You came here with those things. They were already with you when you got here. Nobody had to give them to you because they were already here by design. Just like the body that you inhabit right now, that was also an asset that was put together for you. Okay? But there are many challenges out here, many different voices, many different, if you will, let's say, energies that want yours, mine, ours. They want it. And it's not that they want it because they need it. They just want it to see if they can get it. That's what that's about. That's what the game is about. And where did we land when we got here? We landed on this game zone. This is a made-up place. And I'm not saying that it doesn't exist because gravity is real. Yes, if you do trip over your own laces and you fall to the ground, you will feel the concrete underneath you. That is a reality, okay? However, when I say this is a made-up place, the construct, the design, the policies, the way the things work, the system, all of its designs, all of its offerings, all of its consequences, all of its benefits, everything that makes it what it is was created by who? Somebody else who had a strong desire to put their system and duplicate it over everywhere that they could. so that everybody else can feed into it and use their energy to create and make it continue to grow and do what it does. There's nothing wrong with that system because it operates the way that it's supposed to, but guess where it gets its fuel? Because if we, being a collective, were to actually express what we have on the inside, we would find out just how connected we really are to one another. Because our thoughts and aspirations would align and complement one another. That would bring us more together. But we're separate more so because we are building somebody else's world instead of our own. So what are we really paying attention to? It's not so much what you see on the outside, it's what you see within that we're not really paying attention to. I mean, who says that we're supposed to just go to work, work so many years, so many hours, try to get a pension? A lot of places don't even do that anymore. 401k, a lot of that gets taken out before you even get a chance to claim it. Tax of death on that. And then sometimes that's not even transferable. From the company that you got it with, if you're not with them anymore, guess what? It's non-transfer clause in there. It's locked up. Take you about 15, 20 years to get to it. Is life not more than just this? Are there some thrills, some excitement, anticipation in building and constructing something that serves us as individuals and as a collective, that we have all intentioned together rather than pushing somebody else's agenda that doesn't serve us, not the way that we would serve us. Sometimes our affirmations are good to hear, but a lot of times the signs that we see, we don't pay attention to. Deep calls unto deep. It always has, it always will. Sometimes there are things that you will see that seem out of the ordinary. It's to get attention, it's to get your gaze so that you can remember what it is that you have, what's waiting, what's trying to come out.
I have a question and a statement I'd like to make.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Greetings and salutations.
Greetings to you, brother. All right. Good to have you on. Good to have you on.
Good to be here, and thank you for all that you do. I even like what your co-host was speaking to. It's really interesting. A lot of the things that you're speaking to, I feel, is of the mind, and that's really what it's kind of something I'm really interested in right now. But what I'm speaking to is having a positive statement to say, power of intent, alchemizing your intent, because everything is spiritual before it becomes physical.
Mm-hmm.
Just like as this New Age movement is always talking about the collective consciousness, is what brought us to where we are as a people. Could we were at a higher estate, even spiritually at a higher estate, could it be that we lived in such a realm so long that we wanted to have this experience? You know, they say the ceiling is so high. It's not but so high. But once we've been living there for so long, could we have asked for an experience? And maybe the expectation of our ancestors might not have been for us to descend so low, because we have been lulled to sleep. Being that I put that on the table, being that everybody talks about the collective consciousness, do you feel or think, more so feel? I feel sometimes feeling is spiritual more than physical. Physical is more so going by the data that we have. Spiritual is that visible force in us that lives forever. If we would collectively to strive for equality and peace, because we already basically have free will. The only limitations that we basically have is our belief system and us going by a script that was given to us. So if we collectively, a certain time of a day, every day, even 2-3 times a day, only for a minute, 12 seconds, whatever, put that positive idea for equality and unity and abundance for us, would it be possible that it would eventually manifest? That's my point.
Okay, well, I want to leave that on the floor for the listening audience. Answers to that. What are your opinions? Chime on in. Questions on the floor. Okay. Well, you know how we feel about dead air around here, so I'm going to go ahead and start with an answer. Hopefully somebody else will come after me.
What was the question?
Okay. Brother Ed, would you give the question again?
Yes. Somebody speaks to the collective consciousness. So if we would collectively choose and agree to a certain time of day, 3 times a day until it manifests, to have a specific intent that we agree on.
Muted.
Okay, who did this? All righty. Let me see. Hold on.
Unmuted.
Wow.
Okay. Someone's messing with the controls there. I understand. We get a little finger happy at times, but can we please refrain from doing that unless you are asked to? Okay. We don't mind if you.
What just happened, Marcus? Somebody muted the room?
Somebody muted the room and I unmuted it.
Wow.
I guess they didn't like my question, Brother Infinite.
I didn't even get to hear it, but I know if you could shorten it.
Yeah. Okay. The shortened version is if we would all agree to a certain time of day, 3 times a day, only for 5 seconds. Just put that intent out. You don't even have to say it verbally. You can say it in your mind. Peace, equality, and abundance for us all. Would it manifest? That was the question.
I don't believe collectively that's not going to never happen. That's just my opinion. I don't believe collectively that's going to happen because look what's happening now. Collectively, you know, when you say collectively, you know, nothing has been done collectively to bring us back to where we were, who we was, how we were. So it's a nice thought in the real world. That would be nice, but the world we're living in, I don't believe that would ever happen. That's just my opinion.
Can I say something about that?
No, you can't say anything about that.
Rejected.
I
Well,
heard.
I don't know who was
I
supposed to give
believe
you the floor. Go ahead.
We're joking.
a
I'm sorry
deep
about that.
thought on that. That's all right. I believe that we all do collectively think about having peace and abundance, not only for ourselves, our family, but for each other. It's just we don't have the collective action to add to that thought. We all want peace and abundance for each other, and we see that when we see a lot of negative things happening, and we all have the thought of why does it happen? Why can't we be at peace with each other and stuff like that? But our actions are not collected. They're not together with our minds in order for us to have that uh, to manifest. A lot of people believe that the manifestation of your thought is all you need sometimes when it comes to things you want to have perceived in reality. But a lot of times those actions, those thoughts need to be collected with an action, not just the thoughts. It's the same thing as you lying in bed and going, I want $1 million in my account, compared to you getting up and trying your best to make sure that happens. But I do believe it's possible, but I do believe the action has to connect with the thought.
Agreed, definitely. And to that point, I agree that there has to be action with the thoughts. Like your intentions are like, what is it? Faith is nothing without action, right? Without action, faith is dead. That's something we've read before, right? But now, I have noticed that when the gentleman said a collective thought we have at a time of day, I'm like, wait a minute, that sounds like Fourth of July. Wait a minute, that sounds like Valentine's Day. Like we all agreed, like every year we're gonna do this like this. You know what I'm talking about? And there's already like a movement of these types of things. Like I think they do it on Earth Day, where everyone like collectively meditates somewhere. Like I've seen live streams maybe 5 or 10 years ago or more, where they just have this whole courtyard of these. I don't know what country they're from, but all these people in like robes, just all out in a courtyard somewhere in Asia, and they're all just sitting there, and it's a global meditation hour or something. You know what I mean? Where for this hour, if you want to meditate with us, come on in. And it leads me to my favorite like saying in my whole life. It goes, I can't fly because you don't think so. So this collective imagination that we have,
Ooh.
this collective thought we have is that, like, your mom says, oh, get back from the ledge there, Timmy, you're gonna fall in the water. And Timmy's like, Mom, I'm gonna swim and have an adventure. And Mom's like, but you gonna hold your breath properly? And oh no, is there also a fish that's gonna slap you? Wait, don't do the things that I'm afraid of. And you're like, but I
Mm.
can I can overcome
Mm.
those
Yeah.
things. I have it in me to overcome those things. I can also withstand and endure those things if I misstep. So just because someone protests, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm not going to succeed, but it plants that seed of doubt as to where I'm not able to understand my own abilities. Then I'll believe
Mm.
what those doubts are. You see what I'm saying? So what the gentleman is saying is effectively along those lines. It's the same way we're at 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? Like, that's the same thing.
Ooh.
That's the same thing. You know, out there, there's so many commercials that I don't watch TV anymore, but there used to be a lot of commercials. Gotta go to Moe's, yeah. Like there's just stupid things that I can remind myself of something, and it's like, bam, I'm there in that moment again. You know what I mean? Like the same way me and I was gonna call him extra hype because that's what we do. That's how we feel. Extra, extra hype, super massive, extra hypeness. You know, it's intergalactical. It's super cybernetic. Like, give me another big word that just makes sense to you, and you want me to understand how you feel, but make it up so that I'm going in this place that doesn't exist with you. You know what I'm talking about? We, that's what we're doing here at these different podcasts. We're coming up
Yes.
with some wackadoo idea and saying, "Who's like a comedian? Those are the best comedians." Hey, like it's like Seinfeld. What's with these people? Like, the, I'm crossing the street and this guy honks his horn. I'm like, "Hey, guy, I'm walking here." Like, like what are you gonna do? Like, you've imagined that and you felt that way, but in
Hmm.
that moment, maybe you did get upset and say, "You're in a car, I'm walking," or whatever it might be. Or you might hurry up and say, "Yeah, I know you want to get to where you got to go, and I'm going to hurry up across the street for you because I empathize with you." What are you going to do in that moment? But that's the key. It's all in that effort that we put in those moments to be present so that we can overcome those things that other people put on top of us. I'm tangenting and orbiting. I'll be quiet now.
Can I
Brother
say
Ed,
something again?
Brother Ed,
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to your original question, and I want you to help me and the listening audience to understand when you use the word collectively all at the same time, because I believe that's what you said.
Yeah.
Would it take one person not to do that for that not to work collectively?
No, it would have to take. See, that's the prominence of possibility. Here we are now on an app. We can't see each other if
That's not
we're
true.
not.
Not true.
Excuse me.
That's not true. You can be
If
seen if you want to
and
be seen.
huh?
On this app, you can be seen if you want to be seen.
Okay. So there you go again, speaking to possibility, right?
No, that's
So
reality. That's not a possibility. Reality is if you want to be seen on here, you can be. And that's what I said to your statement. I was talking about reality. I was talking about the real world. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't misinterpret what you said when you talked about
no,
collectively.
you didn't miss.
No, I just want to make sure that I did not. So that's why I always come back and ask the question, because of my statement that I made when I said the real world, when I said reality. And so I don't know how many people's on this line, not that I don't know the number, how many of y'all on here are millionaires? So I'm saying I just didn't want to misinterpret what you said when you said collectively, all of us together, if we did this, that this could happen. I came back and said, I don't believe that, because all it would take is one. That's why I made the statement, because I believed in what you said was all it would take is one person not for it to happen. Like the gentleman was talking about, he was talking about the holidays. Well,
Right.
some of us know what the holidays really represent, so that's out there. Then he talked about Earth Day and what they do on Earth Day. All it would take is one person not to make it work collectively. So I just wanted to make sure I didn't misinterpret what you said and what you put on the table. That's why I'm coming back asking you the question. You said collectively, and I said reality, and I said the real world, that all it would take, the question that you asked was for one person not to do what you said collectively, not for it to work and bring it into reality. If you understand what I said. I know I said a lot, but
No. You didn't say a lot. It was all in the same vein, but I got what you said from the very beginning. And
okay.
the word reality is whose reality? If you go back 100 years, the reality of certain people was different than the reality of people now. If you go back another 50 years, the reality of most people is different than the reality now. But simplistically, by nature, going back to what the last brother said before you, happiness and health for themselves and their children. You know, somebody's daughter wants to be the president of the United States, and that's peace because that's their intent. But nobody is going to, well, there are some people that are ignorant enough to tell a child, you can't be that. Now, would it stop that child from doing that? That's time and observation. But overall, the main reason why I said what I said in reference to not being able to see people on this app was to basically demonstrate it doesn't matter who doesn't do it. It just matters that some of the people have faith that everybody's gonna do it. I really don't feel that I would say, do we agree? Because I feel that most people would say they agree, regardless if it's really in their heart of heart. You see, I'm striving not to say that word believe. But there are plenty of agendas. There's the Zionist agenda, and who knows when that script was first written. But what is demonstrated is they are subduing the earth. I think it wasn't Dr. Ben, it wasn't Ivan Van Sertima, it was Henry Clark. Henry Clark once spoke of when Hannibal went over the mountains and gave the Greeks, a good thrashing. The Greeks were walking through town, and each time they met one another, regardless if they knew each other or not, how you doing today? It's a great day to beat Hannibal, to get revenge. That's not how he said it. I'm saying that because I don't remember exactly what he said. Eventually, that war took place, and they beat him. There's another sample of this, and then I yield. Scientists have three groups of people. One only did visualization of a particular event. The other group constantly practiced that event. I think the third group did a little bit of both. The ones who performed at that event the best was the ones that only did visualization. A lot of the reasons why things are the way they are is because we've been conditioned to talk about the bad things that happens in society. The imagery that they put in front of us is the worst things of us more so than anybody else. But if people would do research, people that don't look like us do more crimes than we do, even against each other. You see, so a lot of these things are programmed. Some of the things are perception because of the program. But the possibility of anything, just like in the Bible, it says, only with a child's heart and mind can an individual enter into heaven. Because you got to have the faith and the imagination. A family is on Skid Row. That child still asks Santa Claus for certain things. And we know Santa Claus is a fiction as it is. Santa Claus is the same two individuals that brought them into this world, made way for them, excuse me. They didn't bring them into the world. They made way for them to come into this physical realm. I'm going to yield there because I don't want to keep going and using demonstrations. But overall, one of the main things they shut down in us by constantly putting crap in front of us, the concentration camps called the school system that don't speak to the board and say what we want our children to learn and be taught. I mean, a white child went home and complained to her parents because of what she saw in her school books, what was done to melanated people. Those parents contact the chancellors of schools. That's what started the ripple effect to take everything that was done as far as us being prisoners of war, taking out of the school books. One thought, one situation. It doesn't matter the nationality of the individual. Just consider the possibility. That's all I'm saying. Imagination is supreme. Everything is spiritual before it's physical.
Permission to speak?
I yield.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Brother Ed, you hit it right on the nail. You hit it right on the nail. You know, what we're dealing with is energy. We are beings of energy. And as we collectively learn how to come together to combine our energies to create a greater energy, the world doesn't want us to come together to create the energy that will overcome what's being created now. But here's the amazing thing about it, is what's being created now is being created by us. It leads to what Brother Ed was saying, is that they have been able to manipulate our thoughts to benefit them because they know our true identity and they know how powerful we are. Now, the challenge for all of us is to truly realize who we are and to use that to create the world that we were meant to create in the first place before they came and distracted us from doing so. In conclusion, I used these two numbers before. I always say that I got these numbers from AI. The numbers are not accurate, but for demonstration purposes only, they'll suffice. And those numbers I'm talking about is the age of white folks compared to the age of black folks. White folks are between 6,000 to 10,000 years old. Black folks is 300,000 years old. But what white folks have been able to do, they've been able to control a people who are much, much older than they are. They've been able to use these people to create their world because these people that they're using forgot who they are. And they will use the art of projection. That's what we're talking about. The art of projection to project a reality on these people who don't know their true reality. To use their creative ability to build a world that doesn't even benefit them. That's the craziness about it. But see, that's what happens when you don't know who you are. And those who do know who you are are not going to tell you because they benefit from your ignorance. And as always, Brother Marcus, I appreciate you giving me the time. Great topic. And as I said before, Brother Ed, you're right on point. Peace, my brothers and sisters.
And so y'all feel like Ed's question was answered because he put a question on the table. And I've heard a lot of talking. He did that before he put the question on the table. That's why I asked him to shorten it. So do y'all really believe the question was answered? Not the explanation that he gave before, not the explanation that everybody else gave, but the question in hand that he put on the table. Because I didn't hear it answered yet.
Well, if you listen to what I said, one person can't stop no show. If one person doesn't combine their energy with the other collective, it doesn't affect the collectiveness of the energy because we're talking about energy. It's just that one person or those persons who don't combine their energy with the rest of the collective, they just won't benefit from the collectiveness of the energy.
So
we're talking about
goes back
energy.
to what I said, Brother Bay. It goes back to what I said.
Uh-huh.
When he put the question on the table, I heard what the question was. I came back and I understood everything you said.
Uh-huh.
I came back and I said, I want to make sure that I did not misinterpret the question that he put on the table about collectively. And I said, does that mean, does the same effect apply when one person doesn't? That was another question because I did not want to misinterpret the question that he put on the table because collectively mean everybody. It doesn't mean separating one person because that's the question that was put on the table. Everybody was listening. He said collectively.
Can I go ahead and surmise here? I'm sorry to cut you off.
Well, real quick. Collectively means not everybody.
Well, collectively means, that was the question that he put on the table if everybody was listening. He said everybody.
Well,
in the real world, I said in the real world that would be nice, but I said in reality we know that's not going to happen. If everybody's listening to what was said, that's exactly what I said. I'm just going by what Brother Ed said.
Right. Cool.
The question that's put on the table. That's all I'm going by.
Cool.
And I did also speak to the fact that if nobody is asked to sign a document, or if nobody is asked to say yay or nay, it doesn't matter. And that's another reason why I use the analogy of children and the Zionist agenda and all of these things. See,
explanation. I got it. That's what I said.
Okay.
I heard the explanation before.
A greater thing about a question is, it's like prime example, the way I speak to myself and the way that you speak to or anybody speaks to themselves is different. You see, but the answer is more so relative to the individual than it is to speaking it to me, because I'd like to hear the answer, but the remembering of how powerful individuals are is what I'm striving to do. I'm striving to wake up that memory in everybody that can hear the sound of my voice. You know, because that's more important. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'd love to be a millionaire, right? But I'd love for everybody to be a millionaire, because what good is me being a millionaire and I'm driving down the street just saying a brand new BMW, and I've been driving old Volkswagens and everybody's seen me driving an old Volkswagen. Now, if people would look at that and see the possibility of they can do the same thing, more so than who does he think he is, which is what we've been conditioned to say.
I think I took your question. I believe, just for myself, I took your question literally. And so that's why I came back and said what I said, to ask another question behind it. so I can get the proper understanding. I know who we were before any European showed up, and I know who we was before religion showed up. So everything that you said, I'm familiar with, but I just wanted to, you answered your question. I wanted to make sure I didn't misinterpret it. So I think I took your question actually literally.
Either way is fine, good brother. Either way is fine. It's just the reality of, and as you notice, I mean, it doesn't matter how many people are on the platform. There are a few people that did speak, and I don't know if that's all the people that's on the platform. But sometimes there's people in the background that's hoping for some of these questions or even bringing these things to the table. And there's some people that just listen to listen, you know. But again, these things is my intent. I'm not going to confess to these things before I ask the question because of the fact that sometimes that already put the detriment in somebody's mind, you know, because you know how minds work, let alone our mind, you know. But the greater reality is in this physical realm, anything is possible because everything happens in the spiritual realm before it happens in the physical realm. Where did you get your thoughts from? I yield because, you know, I know the brother got to close the show soon.
Yeah, we're running close on time, and I want you and Brother Bay and any other podcasters on here, as well as you too, Brother Leon, to announce, you know, your shows on the network. And Brother Leon, I want you to announce your show and what impacts and what positive things.
Now do the other leg. Switch to do the other leg.
Okay, got background noise there. Can we please mute that, please?
Totally amazing.
I did.
Can we please mute that noise in the background, please? Thank you. Appreciate it. Brother Bay, Brother Ed. Okay.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right.
I'm going to lift the leg up a little higher.
I'm about to hang up, y'all.
That's funny stuff.
All the way to the left.
It wasn't part of the collective.
That sound like
Brother Bay, Brother Ed, would you guys, and Brother Leon, would you guys like to announce your shows? And that way we can go ahead and we won't cut into your time, Brother Ed.
No, it's fine, but okay. I'll go last.
All right.
This is Brother Watley Bay. I'm a host of Knowledge is a New Power. We come on every Sunday afternoon, 4:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also every third Saturday of the month, which this Saturday will be the third Saturday of the month, we have our very own Sultan of Morocco who comes on and spends time with us to discuss what we as a collective are doing to solve the issues that a lot of us are just talking about. And so this will be this Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I thank you for the time.
Thank you, Brother Bay. All right. Brother Leon, Brother Ed.
Hi, so I'm Leon. I like to be called Wolf. I have an organization called the Alpha Pack, and with my man FloFokuz, and I know he has his own thing he's doing, but I'm glad that he's part of what I do. It's a community-based organization trying to get our people out there and exercising and working out, and also we do things to make sure that people have their quality of life to be better. We let them know how to make that life better and what they can do. Of course, they can do their own thing, but we want to make sure that we can really reach out and make sure that they have the knowledge of what they can do and what they should do in order to keep themselves up and energized.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing for the community. Thank you for reaching out and thank you for letting us know. And we'll definitely pass that on to some other people who could definitely use that information as well. Thank you for that. Appreciate you.
Question:
And,
where did you find this person? I've never heard that voice.
well, he's with my co-host. He's with Prince, so we'll be getting that information out to everybody, and
Okay.
everybody will have it very soon. Very soon. Uh, uh, we got Oz with the new vision, and then we got Brother Ed. So, would you guys like to go ahead and just briefly tell us what you got going on, so we can get the word out there for you, and then we'll close up after that.
Brother Ed, let Brother Ed go. He's a part of Osmond. He's a part of Grown Folks Talking, so please let him go first.
All right, Brother Ed.
Yes, I'm Brother Edward, and my show is Thine Will Be Done. It will be on in about 6 minutes. Dougie Fresh, you're on. You know, it's every Friday at 8 p.m. I'm on my way home now to get in position, actually. Every Friday at 8 p.m. Thine Will Be Done is the name of the show. Thank you all. Thank us.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. And then now you got it, Brother L, Brother Leon, Oz with the new vision.
Yes, I have an organization, a nonprofit called Osmond New Vision. What we do is we go around speaking to the world about blindness awareness. We have a support group that comes on every last Wednesday of the month on a whole another different platform now that we have embarked on. Anybody that wants to come onto the platform, please reach out to me. If you don't know how to, you got here some way. So however you got here, I'm quite sure that they can put you on here, because there's a whole different telephone number than here, a whole different app than here. But I can definitely get you on with no problem. Thank you for the time and space, brother.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank us, as I can thank us. Real quick, tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., we got the prayer call with Miss Carol. She'll be on tomorrow at 7 a.m. for the prayer call. At 12 noon, we have Your Highness with Actualizer. 2 p.m., we have AC with Consequence or Benefits. 4 p.m., we have Mama Mahasin. There will be no 6 p.m. show tomorrow, as there will be Grown Folk Talking at the Salvation Army, 699 Springfield Avenue, Newark, New Jersey, for the Disease Prevention Convention and Health Forum. That's tomorrow from 12 to 6. All right, and then at 8 p.m., we have the Sultan of Morocco coming on tomorrow. So once the health forum has ended, we still have time to listen and spend some time with the Sultan of Morocco. So that's what we have for tomorrow, everybody. FloFokuz, you already know, bro. You got the last word. Take us out.
Yes, sir. Listen, guys, lovely, lovely conversation tonight, and this all kind of can be surmised a bit in something that my brother Wolf just told me a little bit ago here, right? And I appreciate you for speaking up tonight, Brother Alpha. This is a monumentous occasion. But listen, he spoke on something about he says several thinkers and researchers have explored the idea of manipulating consciousness, often from different perspectives. For example, Edward Bernays, a pioneer in public relations, discussed the potential for manipulating behavior through the group mind. Noam Chomsky, a linguist and political activist, he has analyzed media manipulation tactics aimed at shaping public opinion. And additionally, psychologists like Julia Shaw have demonstrated how easily Memories, even false ones, can be implanted, highlighting the potential for manipulating individual consciousness. So we can do this, this can happen, or it can be done to us. And it's not necessarily a thing that has to happen specifically or directly. It can be indirect and it can be kind of a roundabout way. So we all have to be a bit more diligent and a lot more aware of our surroundings and pay more attention to the nuances, because today's topic is about seeing those things that we're missing, that are hiding in plain sight. So once again, everybody, we appreciate you for listening and tuning in, and come on back to us again every Monday and Friday. And don't forget to see us tomorrow in New Jersey at 12 o'clock, all right, for our extravaganza. So once again, everybody, I appreciate you and we love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much and good night, everybody.
Good
I
night,
don't think,
everybody.
and I don't think AC is going to be on tomorrow. I think he canceled Joe because of the event at 12.
Yeah, I would think Mama My Hospital was canceled as well. But we'll see. We'll see. All right, have a good night. Time to
Good night,
chime
everybody.
in for Ed.
I know.
All right.
Take care, everybody. Good night. Peace and love.
Good night, everybody.